We have multimedia-based self-paced tutorials that teach principles of various refinery and petrochemical processes and their unit operations. The tutorials have built-in quizzes and come with a learning management software that allows an instructor to register trainees and monitor their performances and quiz scores. Let's take a look at various topics that we cover. Acetylene converter, it's a back-end reactor in an ethylene unit. HF alkylation unit, we also are in the process of developing one for sulfuric acid. Amine treating unit, it teaches about high pressure and low pressure absorber as well as LPG contactor and amine regenerating unit. A process boiler, reformer, both fixed bed as well as CCR, centrifugal compressor with lube oil and seal oil system, crude distillation unit using depropanizer as an example, ethylene heater, FCC, furnace, hydrocracker unit, an HDS unit. Then we have two tutorials on basic and advanced process controls. Then we have a tutorial on pump that teaches about different types of pumps, seals, and pump operations. And then in the end we have SRU with both a Claus process as well as tail gas treating unit, mainly Scott process as an example. We are in the process of developing additional modules, mainly steam methane reformer, a hydrogen manufacturing unit, whisk breaker, a delayed coker, and something unique, gasoline and fuel oil blending. So let's take a look at distillation as an example and to see content of a tutorial. So it has 7 chapters. The first one is on overview. It teaches about what a distillation is. Then we have a section on basic principles. It's trying to teach principles of separation using ideal gas law, vapor pressure, boiling point, Dalton and Raoult's law, separation principles, and ultimately teaching relationship between temperature and composition. Then we teach how to control a distillation column. Then, having got the background in the first 3 chapters, now we're teaching operations. So this section talks about principles of startup, normal operations, shutdown operations, and ultimately how to troubleshoot a process. Let's take a look at some clips.
A distillation unit generally consists of a distillation tower, a condenser, a reboiler, a reflux drum, and a set of pumps. The tower consists of a series of perforated trays where liquid and vapor mix. Within the tower, the vapor rises from bottom to top, while the liquid cascades down from top to bottom. At each tray, vapor and liquid come into contact with each other. At each tray, some of the vapor coming from the tray below condenses and releases heat, thus heating up the liquid of that tray. Some of the liquid in the tray vaporizes, causing vapor to rise to the tray above, while some of the liquid overflows to the tray.
Let's look at now crude distillation unit. Here, let's look at a process overview.
Process overview. Crude oil is normally transported from oil reservoirs either via pipelines or oil tankers to the refinery storage tanks. Most refineries have crude oil inventory from 7 to 90 days and it can contain many types of crude oil from various geographical locations. A typical CDU process consists of feed preparation, desalter, preheat train, pre-flash unit, crude heater, main distillation tower, and side strippers. Normally, crude oil from various storage tanks with different crude types is mixed and pumped to a higher pressure.
Let's take an ethylene heater as an example and see what kind of content we provide. So it has a section, an overview of ethylene process, talks about in depth about ethylene cracking furnace, teaches principles of cracking, then talks about key control and operating variables, and ultimately we teach startup, shutdown, safety system troubleshooting, and in this case a decoking operation. So let's take a look at process overview for an ethylene production.
Process overview. An ethylene cracking heater is one of the first unit operations to process the hydrocarbon feed of an ethylene plant. Thermal cracking, sometimes referred to as pyrolysis, is a type of highly endothermic chemical reaction that breaks large hydrocarbon feed molecules into generally smaller and more valuable hydrocarbon product molecules. However, other reactions occur that can produce larger or undesirable byproducts. Nearly all the ethylene plant equipment downstream of the heaters.
I hope you got a flavor about our self-paced tutorials. Now, for each of the tutorials, there is a generic PC-based simulator where they can learn principles of operations, that is, whatever that's been taught in the tutorial can be practiced on the simulator. Thank you.